Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are, and I guess what time you woke up, right? My name is Matt Olander. I'm the co-founder of IX Systems. Well, at least I think I'm in a pretty good position to tell you more about TrueNAS, our love of open source here at IX Systems. How it affects basically everything that we do, and how we leverage ZFS. They tell me there is a way to view the webinar in full screen, so just don't ask me how to do that, right? You feel free to ask any questions. We'll try to get to them at the end. And if I don't answer your question, don't panic. We'll be happy to send out an email along with a copy of this video at the end of the webinar. And now, onward. My business partner, Mike Loth and I, we're really familiar with the ups and downs of the, in Silicon Valley tech industry. When we acquired the remnants of BSDI's, that was our current employer at the time, and we acquired their computer business back in 2002. And of course, we took over the management roles, being the only employees at the time, with Austin, my brother, who did the production builds, and another guy from BSDI that was helping us out. So after we thought about it, and we decided to just try to bootstrap IX Systems, from the get-go, all on its own. After seeing what happens to some companies when they go get funding here, they just get shredded sometimes, right? And so it was right when the first .com bubble had burst. It had just happened, and so we were seeing customers that we'd known and close friends losing their jobs left and right, and they'd been at VC funded companies that they just had a kind of a dubious business plan, shall we say, and no clear path to revenue. So, hey, why not, right? It was a good time to try. If we could do it, if we could make it then, right after the .com bubble burst, we could make it anytime, right? That was the time to try. So that's kind of how that got going. How does IX relate to open source? Good question. I mean, IX Systems, we're the major supporters of several open source projects right now, and that includes, FreeBSD, TrueOS, Slackware, of course, FreeNAS, right? And that's just naming a few. We've got our own window manager called Lumina. I'm on it right now, in fact. And basically, we're considered pretty much, air quotes, the FreeBSD company. There's not a lot of competition, but, we pretty much are, the guys in FreeBSD. We love it, and we've been using it for years. And I think we've probably got, more FreeBSD code committers, or have had, or definitely will have, than probably everyone. But, yeah, I don't know, Google or Facebook, because they hire so many darn people, right? It was important at the beginning to make sure, because after seeing what I'd seen at several other companies, not just BSDI, but I wanted every person coming in to have a stake in IX Systems. I wanted them to be owners, right? Not just people that just got up and went to a job and worked and went home. I wanted them to really, really care. Plus, I couldn't afford to pay anyone, so so you compensate for that with stock, and so everyone has stock in the company. I mean, even someone that's on the line and turning a screwdriver on drive trays on the production floor is invested in really making sure that that we turn out a high quality that we can deliver to our clients, and something that we'd be proud to deploy, because we want you guys, the customers, to be proud to deploy it as well. We've been there, we know how it is, and so we treat our clients like friends, right? And in fact, we made some great friends over the years. We've been building these custom server configs and trying to solve pretty complex industry problems for a long time, and we found that a lot of our customers were using the servers for file sharing services, of course, just like we did. And so I think it was about 2011, we introduced the storage division here at IX Systems, and of course all the solutions that we're building and are building are powered by open source tech, and it's behind the scenes of literally almost everything that we're using. So that gives us the ability to develop and bring a TrueNAS unified storage appliance that works because we use it, right? We literally only got involved because we were using FreeNAS for so long,
And when the founder had to, go move on to other things, I said, hey, we'd love to help. What can we do? And that's kind of how we got started. I mean, IX Systems is driven by open source. Let's see, what are the main products? Well, we basically got two core divisions right now. In the first division, they provide the storage software and the hardware. That includes TrueNAS and our FreeNAS certified line, the FreeNAS Mini, the Mini XL, and exciting more products to come, of course. And the second division provides our server hardware, actually being the like 1U to 4U blade servers, this, that, and the other, and racks and racking services, and both of these divisions, of course, offer our award-winning support and service. And I don't do it often, but to brag a little bit, I know this year, 2018, IX Systems was actually featured in a Forbes Technology Council article, and I think it even mentioned, the fact that we were bootstrapped. Of course, DCIG, a big storage industry analyst in our business, awarded our TrueNAS storage array with the top rankings, and then said it was excellent and highly recommended. 2015, 2016, TrueNAS was, I think it got the product line of the year by the Best and Best in Biz by Best in Biz International. We won their Customer Friendly Company of the Year award a few years ago as well. We are pretty friendly, right? This particular webinar today, we're going to be discussing TrueNAS. That's absolutely right. I mean, we really are the experts in the software development and open source compatibility with the hardware, and we married them successfully together. It really is our belief. It really not only does open source have the power to change the world through a better process and collaboration and open review of code, but it has been changing the world. So we started with just the FreeNAS solution, right? It was pretty simple in the beginning, but soon we ended up offering a TrueNAS flash super turbocharged hybrid all flash storage arrays, and every array was based on FreeNAS and OpenZFS, of course. It was pretty much due to customer demand. My grandfather always said, if someone's trying hard to give you money, you should try hard to find a way to accept it. And I don't want to build what's cool. I mean, I do, but I do want to build what's cool. But I really primarily we want to build what is needed and wanted, right? All of the arrays are unified, and they offer a wide variety of services and protocols, so that the TrueNAS can consolidate your existing storage, copy it to the cloud, and cover pretty much every possible use cases is the hope. Whether it's web scale applications, or you've got storage for your data warehousing, your analytics are pretty hot right now, right? And private to hybrid cloud. Your mission critical VMs. I mean, TrueNAS can give you a reliable, fast, easy to manage storage solution, no matter what the use case is, right? And based on the customer feedback that we've had over the years, we have updated the platform a few times now, and we've got an excess of an exabyte of storage that's under TrueNAS management. So a lot of the community and customers and just people in general, we'd see we're asking, hey, what's the difference between FreeNAS and TrueNAS? Of course, right? And so we wrote a blog about it, explaining. And so I'd like to give you my perspective on what that difference really is, because FreeNAS is literally the world's most popular open source storage project. We've got millions and millions of downloads, and we found over the years that while people love using FreeNAS, they actually really wanted a fully supported solution that had enterprise grade support behind it. I'm really proud of what we've done, right? We built something that we used, right? That's the reason we did it, is because we used it and we needed it. And it's like, hey, if you're solving your problem in a good way, right, with a good process, and you end up with something that other people, you're solving their problem as well, right? And I'd love to be able to, everyone here would love to be able to support FreeNAS on every piece of hardware out there, but it just doesn't make sense, right? we found that there's just too many variables involved. There's so many choices of motherboards, chipsets, different HBAs that have different firmware that reacts differently with the hard drives, the different hard drives that are out there, and there's so many possible combinations. It's just impossible to stay on all of them, right? And it is our goal to provide the absolute best experience and produce the best software. And so of course we needed the best appliance platform, and we spent over a year creating the TrueNAS solution. It works as a unified platform, both hardware and software, with the stellar IX Systems customer care team supporting both of them. And really, this gives our clients one throat to choke rather than having to deal with multiple vendors. One vendor for this software and that software, another vendor for this package or plug-in, and then of course another vendor for your hardware. We've had to do it, and we know what a hassle that can be. And so we want to provide something that we want, right? It's worked out. It's worked out really well. So besides, the ability to narrow the platform down to something that we could all test and hammer out the issues on, or improve easily because it's this one thing. One of the other things that TrueNAS allowed us to do that just wasn't possible with FreeNAS on every platform was we could go obtain the industry certifications, for other enterprise platforms such as Veeam and XenServer and, of course, VMware, right? And since we control the hardware platform, we can fine-tune the software that way, and we can increase, the performance and reliability of the TrueNAS platform. And it works for everyone. It's a win-win-win. There's just no substitute for the performance, functionality, high availability, and the professional software support of a TrueNAS enterprise storage appliance. TrueNAS really is the enterprise version of FreeNAS, and it's hardened and tuned for uncompromising stability and the performance that enterprises require. So our clients, many of our clients feel that TrueNAS should cost a lot more than it does. Just look at the pricing for TrueNAS, with all the features as compared to some of these others. And honestly, in a nutshell, WTF, dude. I mean, in fact, one of our challenges here is that my sales guys will send out, a TrueNAS quote, and a day goes by and the client will call asking where the rest of the quote is. They're still waiting. Seriously, why do the other guys have to charge so much? I think they've got huge organizations they have to support, and lots of shareholders that are clamoring for profitability over the clients, or sometimes at the client's expense, right? And we're just not like that. We don't have to be, and certainly we don't want to be. Let me give you several reasons why TrueNAS should be a primary consideration for any of your next storage projects. Certainly, we've got a way better price versus performance ratio than any of our competitors. You don't have to swallow the Kool-Aid, coming from various all-flash storage array vendors right now that'll tell you to use flash for every single application. A TrueNAS flash-powered hybrid, flash storage array will support pretty much every application you can think of. Let me share with you what I've heard from, some of our customers. A client told us their Isilon wasn't cutting it, right? I love Isilon, by the way, and I love what they did. But it's expensive, right? And it's a legacy storage now, really. So anyway, the client replaced their Isilon with a TrueNAS, right? We blew Isilon out of the water on NFS performance and IOPS, and this was on over 200 virtual machines. It sounds crazy, but we were 90% cheaper to acquire the system and support it. The Isilon had 120 7200 RPM spindles versus our 14 7200 RPM spindles, which was like an 88% savings, reducing the upfront cost to acquire and deploy the system. Right, the Isilon took up of course that when you have that many drives, it takes up a lot of rack space. I think in this case it's about 16U. Of course, the TrueNAS takes up their TrueNAS was 3U, so they were able to make a huge reduction in maintenance power and the cooling costs, right, which becomes a major factor. One of our other clients, they do content delivery. I mean, they do a lot of it. They were looking to expand their in-house storage cluster, and they ended up getting a very expensive, let's say the vendor just rhymes with hell. And the product just was not cutting it, and they gave us a call. We came in, we took a look, and tried to figure out what was going on. And it turns out in their use case, which was many large files that are read sequentially, the TrueNAS outperformed the Dell storage array by a huge factor, right out of the gate, right? Another performance win I've got for you. A while back, one of our partners was looking for a storage appliance, for their front end their flash array, and they put us head to head against a NetApp, and once again, our performance, not only was it higher, we were a fraction of the cost. So greater capacity at a reduction in upfront cost. I mean, it's a win. TrueNAS is really flexible. It allows you to unify your business critical apps with a storage array that fits the performance and capacity requirements for the app, right? We unify the block file object storage, and we can grow to 9 petabytes in a rack and a quarter. And of course, TrueNAS is available in hybrid and all-flash configs, and it uses a ZFS-based file system, which guarantees your data stays pristine and safe, and that's really what it's all about. So here at IX, spreading the word of open source through storage and servers, and the trade shows we do, and the software commits to several projects, it's our passion, right? Frankly, we do it for free. In fact, most of us do, right? Our open source experts can bring out the peak performances, security, and stability in your servers. We've got years of experience doing it, right? TrueNAS is built from enterprise-grade parts that our professional engineers have qualified in various open source environments over the years. After your TrueNAS system arrives at the data center, our IX experts will optimize it to work with your systems and the networks that you already have in place, right? Frankly, you could bring your whole thing to life with TrueNAS and experience the dedication of our open source software pros. I'm really proud of these guys. They've done a fantastic job, and it shows. TrueNAS comes with a month of deployment assistance, and that includes software updates for the lifetime of the appliance. We've got a 3-year hardware warranty, and of course that can be upgraded in several ways, from the extension of the warranty duration, extended help desk hours, on-site spares kit, on-site hardware support, and of course all the way up to 24/7 support with a 4-hour response. The driving principle behind everything we do here at IX Systems is the belief that open source technology has the power to change the world through the process of open collaboration, right? A collaborative, innovative game changer, really. It's a paradigm shift, right, for many companies. Building the products and services around that kind of open ecosystem allows IX to be very successful, and we want to help to empower our clients to do the very same. With TrueNAS, the initial investment you make is simple. It's easy to understand, right? The quotes are short and sweet. With upfront, what we call bare bottom pricing, all the features you need for your project are included. There's no hidden costs. In many cases, we've noticed our competitors, it looks like they gouge the customers on especially on the post-purchase features or the maintenance fees, in particular. And the maintenance fees and additional features or add-ons, we've seen the quotes or the invoices, right? They actually cost more than the storage appliance, of course, right? Everything is included with TrueNAS right up front. We've got really straightforward support plans. It keeps you covered on both the hardware and the software while saving you some cash. Once you go OpenZFS, I was going to say you can't roll back, but you can. You won't want to roll back. How's that? Checksums. Bit rot, data corruption, they're the silent enemy that we all face, right? It's just a fact of life. It happens. it's not something you have to worry about with ZFS. It's self-healing. And the first time you see a data corruption counter tick up out of zero and then get healed, you're going to wonder how you survived up until now. Really, mentally, it's a game changer to realize this happens periodically, and you're just hoping, really, that your data is safe. You paid a lot of money for your RAID protection, and all of a sudden, a disk failure means the dollars that you paid and the time you've invested to ensure some kind of redundancy have gone right out the window. You got to wait for the disk to be rebuilt before you have a redundant config that you already paid for. And yeah, you're just hoping and praying that you don't have another disk failure that happens during the rebuild, which we've seen. It happens because you got all the disks at the same time, right? One fails, well, maybe the others are going to fail soonish too, right? ZFS knows which areas of the disk have data, and it copies only what you use, and so you can quickly return back to your business and doing what you do. TrueNAS provides unlimited and instant previous file version retention and restoration that can be done without intervention by an administrator. Data is protected against unintentional alteration with minimal storage consumption, right? So it takes very little space. It's mind-boggling. You can do this on demand or a scheduled basis. What if you could have spinning disk capacity and the low cost that comes with that, but at the speed of flash? You can. TrueNAS uses a hybrid architecture that optimizes performance and capacity without compromise by leveraging TrueCache that combines RAM, a solid-state cache, and the high-density spinning hard disks. By replacing the high-speed spinning disks with solid-state, we can reduce the power consumption and the space requirements dramatically while improving performance at the same time. TrueNAS uses multiple techniques and technologies that reduce the volume of data that's actually stored. So TrueNAS storage optimization reduces, the size of the IOPS that can reach the storage media, and this will actually increase performance while at the same time conserving space for your additional data so that you can keep the data growth under control. Every aspect of a TrueNAS system can be managed from an easy-to-use web user interface or the CLI, and we've got a RESTful API so that you can automate or integrate. Volume creation, setting permissions on individual shares, performing software updates, all this can be done without missing a critical step or encountering any kind of silent failure. Many services have advanced configuration options that are available from our web user interface and also in advanced menus. The full power of the FreeBSD shell environment is available a click away, right? Or through SSH, you just log in. Ultimately, TrueNAS makes storage deployment easier than ever, but we don't get between you and the solution that you need. I'd love to share some of our success stories with you guys. McGill University, you probably heard of them. They're a public research university located in Montreal, Canada, if Canada really exists. Well, they've got thousands of students and researchers accessing their TrueNAS deployment every single day of the week. And in order to make sure they had a bulletproof setup years ago when we started, we used two TrueNAS HA configs, one for the computer science department, another that was for pure research. Both of the HA configs replicated to a third TrueNAS system for disaster recovery. The servers and some of the clients are using NFS to access TrueNAS while faculty and students are on a Mac or Windows using SMB Samba. They've got over a petabyte, and it's constantly in use. It's a really big deal if things don't work on a Monday morning, when all the students and the faculty come in. So, we talked a little bit about snapshots and recovery. Well, one day, their primary TrueNAS head had been scribbled on by one of the researcher systems that had gone rogue. It wrote all over the site-wide NFS server, and some of the students were unable to log in. They had to recover the data, and they had to do it really quick, and the pressure was on. Those are usually not fun situations. Well, I'm happy to tell you it took less than 5 minutes to restore a snapshot, locate and restore a snapshot from the replication target back to the production TrueNAS configuration. Most of that time was spent logging into multiple boxes, right? Looking around. So what could have been a massive debacle was easily solved by TrueNAS. You may have heard of rsync.net and used rsync, I hope. Wonderful piece of software. Well, John from rsync, formerly from John Companies, anyone remembers that back in the day, wanted to build out a solution for his clients to be able to store and replicate from the data center back to their client location at rsync.net. And we were able to work with him. Where else are you going to go if you need, especially if you're looking at a ZFS solution already? We're the guys. So because he's based on FreeBSD and ZFS and provides a wonderful solution at rsync.net, we were able to help him design and deploy a solution that he could then use for his clients. And that was a while ago, and he's doing quite well. rsync is doing great. It's a wonderful service. Still one of the very few in the business to provide that. Planetary Resources, near and dear to my heart. These guys are a space asteroid mining company. That's right, a space asteroid mining company. They're located up in Seattle, Washington. They needed to store a lot of information, right? For a point of reference, right? When I say a lot, just think about it. The Hubble telescope generates something like 120 gigs and more of data per week, and that's just the one telescope. So they needed a cost-effective method so they could start collecting space data for their telescope deployment that they did, that they're working on. In the future, they're going to use TrueNAS that will gather telemetry so that we can mine asteroids for rare minerals. The last one I'd like to share with you is a company called Council. It's a genetic testing lab a little south of San Francisco here in the Bay Area. These guys are working on, lots of genetic data, and they needed quite a bit of storage. The human genome contains over 1.5 gigs of data. And of course, nowadays that can be stored on a few DVDs. But if you want to save the data of an entire organism, right, it will take over 100 zettabytes to store. So either way, right, they needed to store massive amounts of data. They wanted a cost-effective solution so that they could do the DNA analysis for the clients. So with TrueNAS, the sequencing systems there at Council are able to log the test results directly to the TrueNAS storage array. And this gives doctors and clients immediate access to all of the data from Council's web server cluster, which is, of course, reading the information directly from a TrueNAS share. Okay, here's our full product portfolio, and as you can see, it fits a wide range of use cases and needs. All the models come with single or dual HA controllers, and all the models support a hybrid storage tech, NVMe and NVMe RAM caching, or they're all SSD based, like the TrueFlash. They can all be scaled in the future. You just add more drives, more shelves, right? These drive capacity numbers reflect each model's maximum number of supported drives via the head controller and expansion shelves, and the effective number is how much you can store after the data is formatted and compressed. Of course, entry-level service agreements come with the controller swaps, and we've got a fully modular design. So, knock on wood, anything happens, and we have it fixed in a jiffy. Of course, all the hybrid models support any of the modern drives, from slow to fast, 7,200 RPM nearline, 15K SAS, SAS SSDs, and the Z50 TrueFlash supports 4 terabyte SSDs. Okay, that's all I've got here for my notes. I see we had a few questions. Let's see here. Let me address a couple of these. Does TrueNAS support non-disruptive upgrades? Absolutely. As I just mentioned, TrueNAS is modular.
And so that allows most of the parts to be replaced without requiring any downtime. The firmware can be upgraded or updated without an outage as well. Let's see. I need hundreds of terabytes to keep my backups. Is this a use case for TrueNAS? Yes. Backups archival, absolutely. Bread and butter. In fact, about half of our users use TrueNAS to store their backup images, and up into far larger than hundreds of terabytes. TrueNAS has been certified for Veeam Backup and Replication version 9 as well, so good to go. Does TrueNAS support drive sparing? So we get this question quite a bit. Actually, there's no need to have spare drives on a shelf, right? You could place them directly into the appliance itself nowadays, and in the event of a failure, the spare drive or drives will take over for any of the failed drives, and only the active data is recreated as the array resilvers. Does TrueNAS support VMware? Yeah, we get this one quite a bit as well. Yes, TrueNAS supports VMware, and we're on the VMware HCL certified list. And quite a few of our clients use TrueNAS to store the virtual machines, present the storage over iSCSI or NFS. For VMware, TrueNAS works with ESXi 5.5 up to 6.7. We support VAAI, SIOC, and Storage DRS. TrueNAS also has a vCenter plugin, and it's been certified for VAAI Block and VAAI NAS. TrueNAS snapshots are integrated with vSphere snapshots, and VMware consistent snapshots will be listed in the TrueNAS GUI. Can I purchase TrueNAS and support in Europe? Yes, TrueNAS is sold through our resellers in Europe. Let us know if you'd like more info on that. And of course, we offer the award-winning TrueNAS white glove support worldwide. So whether your organization just needs your basic 8 to 5 support, or if you require 24/7 around-the-clock support with on-site spares and parts replacement included, TrueNAS enables your org to purchase exactly the support that you need and nothing more. Okay, does TrueNAS support flash for capacity? Yes, absolutely. You can add SSDs to any of the TrueNAS models. And the M50 uses NVMe and NVDIMM for cache, not capacity. Okay, hopefully by now everyone is wondering, how do I get TrueNAS by the truckload, right? This has some resources for you. How to get a hold of us, ask for a quote, whatever you need. The IX Systems newsletter is a great place to learn more information. Okay, that wraps it up. Thank you very much. I know you have things to do and your time is very valuable. So thank you for attending the webinar and learning more. You'll get a reply. Feel free to share it with anyone, friends, family, colleagues, your boss. If any further questions arise or I didn't get to your question, feel free to send us an email, webinar@ixsystems.com, and I will make sure personally that you get a response. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day.